Hi there, it's Anthony, and I am about to react to the pilot episode of The Walking Dead. So, of course, this is my first time reacting to The Walking Dead, so I'd imagine there's some new people watching. So, welcome. Like I said, my name is Anthony, and I am a expert critic and reactor. So you're really in for a treat because I tend to give, the greatest breakdown, analysis, and reactions of television shows of all time, or something like that. I don't know a lot about this show, but I feel like I might know a little bit more about it than a lot of shows that I might go into to react, just because I feel like it's one of those shows that's almost impossible to escape. I know it's about, I guess, either zombies or some type of, apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic thing, but I'm not completely sure on the details of that. I'm really into the video game series The Last of Us, and I've heard people compare that to this TV show before, so I guess maybe that could be a good sign that I might like it. And I know that it was originally aired on AMC, which houses two of my favorite TV shows, and Mad Men and Breaking Bad. So I'm looking forward to this. I know that there's like a character named Glenn on the show that must be pretty big or important, because I feel like I just always remember hearing people talk about Glenn. And I feel like something happens to him. I feel like he dies. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I've seen that, or something big happens. Maybe he gets turned into a zombie. I don't know. I feel like people were sad about something. So unfortunately, I already know that much. So I'm already gonna be looking at this like, okay, Glenn, I know that you have some type of bad fate about to happen to you, but But that's enough. I know you don't want to sit here and listen to me talk. You want to get into the show. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and watch The Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 1, Days Gone By. Oh yeah, I believe this show is filmed in Georgia, so maybe I'll see some familiar spots because I live in Georgia, specifically the city of Atlanta. Already not a good look seeing that big whatever kind of truck flipped over on its side. Oh, there's another. Oh, wow. Eerie silence. A fake baby. All signs that something terrible is about to happen, if you ask me. No, that's not that bad of a sign. That actually gives me a better feeling about this.
Little girl?
So is he like the main character, or is he just gonna die at the end of this scene? Sheesh. The chances ain't looking good, buddy. Gotta do what you gotta do. So I guess he is the main character. Alright, well that's an interesting introduction just off the top. They set us up in a very kind of weird, creepy environment. It was a very desolate looking space, so you already get a feel for what the atmosphere of the show is going to be like. And I guess we kind of already get an idea of who this, I don't know what his name is yet, but who this policeman is as a character. It almost looked like it could have been an almost save the cat kind of moment, because he actually cared about the little girl and was about to try to help her. Then she turned around and turned out to be a zombie or something, so he was like, okay, never mind, I don't care that much, and he shoots her in the head, which, I can totally relate to that decision. This has got me intrigued. I'm interested to see where we're gonna go from here.
We're stripped blind, second to leave a room. I mean, every woman I ever let have a key, I swear to God. It's like, come home, house all lit up. Anyway,
this guy sounds like he's been hurt by somebody.
Still, man, that earns me this look of which.
I feel like this guy's about to get killed. Or was he in the intro? I wasn't paying attention. So I'm guessing this is before the apocalypse or whatever, since the most they have to do right now is complain about the women in their lives.
But I think, Leon, is you need to stay focused and make sure you got a round in the chamber and your safety up.
So this guy's like a leader, either by position or just by natural inclination. Ooh. Was that intentional? Dude, this is not smart at all. It's over with. Why are you... He must have a death wish. Yeah, that guy just had a death wish. Oh, and so does this guy. See, he's smart. You don't start firing at them. Oh, you're an idiot. That was just petty. You didn't have to shoot him. I mean, like, because there was no way you were going to survive once they started firing back at you. Thought that last guy was going to be smart and try to crawl away in the fields or something. Oh, dang, they're dead. How long has it been? Oh, the clock is stuck. Yeah. He's really going to miss his problems just being whatever those two were talking about earlier in the car. He went from that being his main thing to complain about to now living in a apocalypse. Kind of sucky. Yeah, that clock was on around the same time as the clock in his room. Interesting that they froze around the same time, unless they just reused the same clock as a prop. What happened at like 2:17 or whatever time that was? Yeah, stuff just got really real. Like, what? Don't open dead inside. The Walking Dead. So that's what they call them, dead. Seems like this would just be highly traumatic. Like, how is he even? I mean, yeah, he does look totally freaked out. Oh my goodness. That was cool how they just did that. Revealed it a little bit by little, then cut to that wide shot. Cue indie rock music for the beginning of the coming of age movie.
If I was a flower growing wild and free, all I'd want is you to be my sweet honeybee.
Like, how in the world do you, like, move on from something like this? Like, just like, how do you process this? But it's like, at least the rest of the world got to go through it together. Now he just wakes up, no explanation or nothing of what's going on. Everything's different and missing. Please tell me this isn't an ambush. Please tell me they're just nice people.
Daddy,
Oh,
Daddy!
wow. Oh, that dude was so pale. Or gray.
Okay.
Wow. You're all over the place out there.
Noise. Get away from the windows.
Oh my goodness, is she looking at them?
I said go.
Can y'all move away from the window? This is like that Soulja Boy music video. Oh my goodness, can she see through, like... Does she have a key? Does she remember? So that's just common for her to just walk up and rattle that. I just literally have no idea how to even fathom being in a situation like this. And that guy is not dead, dude. Well, I mean, I guess he is dead, but he's walking dead. The first kind of light moment in the show so far, honestly.
Dressing room back there. Gonna move on.
I hope this guy isn't Glenn, man, because then I'm going to be like, ah, dang, I know something bad is going to happen to him. They haven't said his name yet, right? Or did I miss it? So he's gonna shoot her, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's what he's waiting for. Sure we can call that growling? It's pretty pathetic at this point.
I'm sorry this happened to you.
Yeah, that thing does look pretty just... You do feel sorry for it. Can you take all them out, man? Uh-oh. It's not her, man. I mean, I know this is really tough. That's the guy from earlier, right?
He's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wasn't the same too, was it? Was it? I don't know. Was that meant to be the same people? They would have recognized his voice. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. It almost looked like those were the same two people in the picture. And so now they're with you know, Shane. Shane didn't recognize his voice either, but I thought they would have recognized his voice. I don't know. I might not have understood that correctly. I guess I'll understand it correctly eventually. I mean, the way they did that cut, that must mean they were the same people. Don't need gas for that. This is about to be like a shot of Atlanta. Yep. Jeez. Looks a little different than actual Atlanta, I think, in terms of where that is. But yeah. Wow. All them cars blocked trying to get out. Nothing's coming in. What does that tell you? You probably shouldn't be going there. Yeah, Marietta Street, Georgia State. That's the school I went to. Oh my gosh. This show doesn't do like you know, film score, like background music that much, which I think is actually pretty cool. I think that's part of what gives it such a dreary feel. Like in a lot of things right now, we'd be hearing all sorts of action music or, you know, horror music or something. Oh man, they're eating the horse. They must be real hungry. See what I did there?
I'm sorry.
Surprised he didn't. I guess he looked up and just saw that all of a sudden. Kind of like a Walter White moment at the beginning of Breaking Bad. Like, what has my life come to? I might as well just end it. I think he really was about to, but then he just saw that sort of trap door or whatever and was like, oh wait. Oh my gosh. Boom. Yeah, going to Atlanta wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, you in the tank. Cozy in there?
Dude. Look at how many of them there is. That didn't end how I expected it to end. It ended with a slight little glimmer of hope with the guy on the radio thing. I was expecting it to just end on like something even more terrible about to happen in terms of like a cliffhanger or something. But yeah, wow. Okay, so I've finally seen some of The Walking Dead now. I'm not completely out of the loop on that anymore. But yeah, that was the first episode. I thought it was a good, you know, introduction to what this show may be about to be. You know, like I mentioned, there was a lot of things that went into this episode that just, you know, gave it a really, really kind of heavy and dark feeling without employing the usual tactics that, you know, a movie or a TV show would do to do that. Like I said, it was a very minimal use of, you know, music to kind of undercut everything. They just let it be. It was just silence a lot of times. Sometimes it was pure silence. Sometimes you could just hear a little bit of the ambient noise around. And I think they did both of those techniques in very intentional ways, and it set up a very, you know, specific atmosphere that gave me an idea of what I should probably expect from this show. Also, it wasn't something where it was like a lot of theatrics or, you know, cinematics or whatever you want to call it, with like, you know, dark, broody night shots and, you know, crazy, you know, gore and all this stuff. The gore, yes, it was there, but it didn't feel like anything was like sensationalized or like it was like, you know, made to look like, you know, cool and dramatic and all that, and or like it was horrified, if you will. It just felt like this stuff is just plainly happening. It's just broad daylight. It's just out there. It's just happening. And I felt like, you know, the makeup had to be good for all that. The visual effects had to be good for all that. And it did a pretty good job to me. I'm no expert in that regard, but it looked pretty real to me. So that was another thing. I just felt like all those stripped down techniques, not using music, not being overly sort of cinematic, and just keeping it very grounded in reality, while obviously doing something that's not grounded in reality at all. It just really made for a very kind of, you know, heavy and affecting experience. Like, I feel like, wow, what would I do in this situation? That being said, I wonder how much this is going to continue. Like, is that how the whole show is going to feel? Because it almost feels like it would be hard to take this in large doses. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mind if the show lightened up just a little bit, you know? Like, not just completely lose the whole mood and tone of the show. But you know how they had scenes like the shower scene where, like, it was just a little bit lighter and they were actually laughing and they joked about something? Like, you know, just a little bit more of that here and there, you know, wouldn't be unwelcome for me. But I don't think that was needed in this episode. Let me clarify. This episode was totally fine. Like, I really liked how it felt. I liked how heavy it was. I liked how dark it was. I liked, you know, kind of the despair that you feel. It started us out with the whole thing, you know, where they have the teaser, and then after that they go back and do a little bit of a time jump back so that you can see how things got up to that point. So that was pretty cool. And you know, of course, there was the whole 28 days later style thing of him waking up and the world just being totally messed up, and he's like, what's going on? So all that was pretty cool, I thought. I think that this is going to be a show, at least I hope, similar to The Last of Us, where, yeah, it's set in a zombie apocalypse or whatever, but it's not really about that. Like, it's not focused on that type of stuff. I mean, it's there, and it's a focus, obviously, but the main focus is really the characters and, you know, everything that they're going through. Because I don't really like zombie stuff that much, which is weird to say, considering how I just talked about how much I like The Last of Us and stuff. But I'm not that into that type of stuff, if that's what it's about. But if it's about, like, character and everything, and character growth and development, then yeah. And I just assume that that's what this is about, but maybe it is just a zombie show. Who knows? I guess I'll find out. I really enjoyed the two, like, kind of supporting characters and whatnot, Dwayne, and I didn't catch the other guy's name yet, honestly. I'm not sure if I'm supposed, he might have said it and I just missed it. And I know this is based off like a comic book or something, right? So maybe it's in there, and yeah, I don't know. I didn't catch his name this episode, but I thought their story was, you know, was really cool. I mean, it's not necessarily the most like unheard of thing. The idea that, you know, she turned sick and they couldn't, you know, bring themselves to kill her, even though it wasn't really her anymore, or at least the man couldn't bring himself to kill her. But I just felt like, you know, I mean, his performance was so good. Like, I think to me, he was the standout in this episode in terms of just the acting performance and everything. You know, when he was standing by the window about to shoot her down, but he couldn't do it. Like, that was a crazy scene. That was probably my favorite scene of this episode. So I guess a big thing moving forward now will maybe be Rick trying to reunite with his family and whatnot. Lori and Carl. Like, I went back and looked at that scene just now again, just to see if, like, they said their names or anything, and I don't think they did. And then, I'm talking about the scene, you know, where they were by the tent and everything, and then it cut to him looking at a picture. But looking at that picture, I do think that was them. But I'm still not completely sure. I can never tell if people are the same people just by looking at a picture of them and then seeing them. I don't know why. I still am not completely sure, but I think that that's them. I feel like I look stupid right now. I feel like you're like, obviously it's them, or you're like, obviously that's not them. But I'm going to figure it out. Don't comment below. Let me just figure it out from watching the show. I wonder if we're going to continue following, like, Dwayne and his dad and whatnot, and they're going to meet back up with Rick and stuff. I'm sure we're going to meet a lot more characters, too. So, yeah, man. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen next. Like, I guess my main hope for this show, just from a personal standpoint, from what I want to see, is that I don't want it to be too much about zombies and stuff like that, because, like I said, I'm not that into that type of stuff, and that kind of gets boring to me a little bit. So I don't want it to be too much into zombies. Like, obviously I'm fine with that being around all the time, but I'd rather kind of focus on what it's putting these characters through and how they react to it and how they feel about it. And I do hope that it moving forward gradually gets a little bit, you know, just a little bit lighter, and, you know, kind of isn't always as heavy as this first episode. Obviously these aren't things I necessarily think would make it better or worse. I'm just saying from my, you know, personal taste in terms of watching a show as a viewer and enjoying it, I kind of hope for these things. It's really starting to storm outside now. Maybe a zombie apocalypse is starting, but I'm guessing that means it's my cue to stop this video so that my audio just isn't terrible. But yeah, it looks like the first season of this is 6 episodes long, so I'll definitely watch all that. And, you know, I guess at that point then I'll just evaluate and make sure I want to continue watching it, just depending on, you know, how I feel about it at that point, and I guess also like the reception it gets on the channel and whatnot. But yeah, looking forward to continuing on with this. You know what everybody's always saying. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe what you thought about this episode. I'm definitely interested to hear other people's thoughts on this pilot episode of The Walking Dead. Just be sure, no spoilers, none at all. If you didn't know it when the episode came out on air, then don't say it now. Don't even say, oh, I want to see this episode or this season is the best season. Shut up. No, stop. That's a spoiler. Spoiler alert. But yeah, that'll be it for now, man. I'll see you all later. Have a good one.